Yo, 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 we're live around the Ecomiverse, episode 46. Bring it back, take two, let's go again. We got your boys Cryto Rain, Dane the Bull, Queen Veve, and the real Randy Chaves. And hopefully David Yu will be here shortly, guys. I promise. I promise.
He confirmed.
He did. He confirmed. He confirmed the event. The event is in my calendar. It's got a little tick next to David's name. So we should be good. I did get some outfit. But actually, guys, we have a special announcement. I was going to do this later on, but we may as well do it now. Check out new merch around the Ecomiverse. And we've actually also got, if you turn around,
Nice.
everybody's name on the back. Everybody's ever been on around the Ecomiverse, minus a few fudders that we didn't put on, because I don't want people to burn the.
You took the fudders out?
So, yeah, I took out Kyle Wilson.
Who got kicked out?
Okay,
I want to know what's the list of people who got kicked off the shirt.
Yeah, it's at least Hello K and Kyle Wilson. I'm not sure how many others because I don't want to get people to buy the merch and then set it on fire. So I want people to buy it and wear it. So yeah, check it out. I got a new little banner at the bottom there. So yeah.
Very
hopefully
nice.
we can get some people. It's limited edition, 200 per shirt and 200 per jumper, whatever, hoodie and t-shirt. Yeah, there's a few other random things there, like Omi burning stuff. But yeah, we're all really excited for today. Hopefully, David comes on soon. I don't know how many meetings he's got today, but yesterday he had over 8 meetings, right, Randy?
He had 9, and that's not including a bunch of the emails he had to get back to setting up a couple of travel plans for the future. So we'll have official announcements on a couple things, hopefully in a week or so.
Awesome. It's super exciting. I can't wait. Wow, I've got to get through some comments. You guys are going crazy. We've got 200 comments here. There's no way I'm getting through them all today, guys.
Well, not with that type of attitude, Jordan. You got to go and believe in yourself.
I was told off yesterday for going too fast through. Oh, we have a special guest. You guys ready? You guys ready?
Do this.
Here we go. Yo, welcome, David Yu.
Hi, David.
Hey.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, David. We're so excited to have you here. Really
Yes,
excited.
thanks for having me on.
No worries. It sounds like you've had a very busy week, this one.
Busy, ever since I got back from New York. I think both myself and Dan we caught the bit of flu. Ended up to be some infection. So just getting ready and just been catching up with a lot of work. We're in the Q4 now. And really planning for 2024 as a major part for us here at Veve. And how are we all doing? You guys celebrating Halloween tonight, or?
Yeah, we're having a little bit of fun with some costumes.
Yes, we
I'm with you, David. Halloween was yesterday for me, but the rest of them it's all tonight, right?
Yeah.
Where's your costume, David? Who were you for Halloween?
Oh my God, Veve Queen.
That's just the first one.
David, just before you came on, I just announced we just set up some merchandise for this around the Ecomiverse. So, and on the back, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. But,
we see.
There's actually a David Yu on there at the back as well. A little cyberpunk.
That's so cool.
So it's a bit of fun for the fans.
Fantastic.
Now we've got a million questions that everybody wants to ask.
Okay, I'll try to answer them if it's not too sensitive.
Yeah. I just want to ask something that I've personally been really interested to know about is obviously you've had a really long journey with Ecomi and Veve. What was the hardest part of getting started with Veve up until now?
Well, the obstacle of where Veve is today, even though it's only been 5-6 years, it felt like a couple of decades, to be very honest with you. You have a major part of your business is very digital orientated team where it's very high speed frequency, need to get this, get it done now. And then you have another part which is very traditional in the licensing background and moving with large corporations, which it can feel forever. It's never ending, and it just drags on from business development to creations to legal and so on. So to break it down to major parts and some of the highlights and the lows, I will have to start with probably the low. The low is obviously in 2017 when we started this journey, that the market didn't really understand what digital collectible NFT was. You know, it's quite often myself and Dan regularly attend these blockchain events and fundraising events and meet investors. The hottest thing was, as you probably know, about tokenization, ICO, and so on. So that was a major challenge that we were kind of cool because we were the two guys down from New Zealand. We get invited to all the parties and the dinner and the event, but no one really understood our vision and what we're trying to do. And even though Crypto Kitty was out there already and they did very successful, we were very lucky to meet the founders and the co-founders of that project and really taken some of the mistake and understand what they'd done wrong and what was right. So that was number one challenge, is that no one understood. But moving forward to the stage two was, once you have a great idea, the technology technically wasn't there. So we are really putting focus on, there's no such an app look like this at that time. And I did remember, I did see Google had some sort of AR facility thing. When you go on Google, you search dinosaurs or cows or pandas, and you could, you know, AR out one of these free stuff that they put out. But it wasn't really part of, you know, that collectible atmosphere, or just digital items. So we kind of knew we're on the right path. The AR kit back then wasn't very stable, so you kind of needed a marker, you know. And what we done originally, we thought maybe the secure wallet, the back of it, you when you put your phone over our logo, the star, the universe, you could use that as a marker. Because back then when you do the AR, it was pretty much floating around, like it was just flying. So that was a challenge. And obviously the phone, the internet connection speed wasn't really up to it. There's no such an app. Even till today, you know, for an app in the Apple Store, where you could purchase $50 items, it wasn't very common that high value product will be going through the Apple Store. It was all $1.99, $7.99 subscription service type of thing. So technology was a barrier. And the third part, which ultimately become the hardest part of the puzzle together, was the licensors. You know, getting them on board, it was very, very challenging. And then, so that was 1, 2, 3. All the possible thing could go wrong, or the hardest thing can happen, did happen. And then obviously when you build a product, then you have 4, 5, and 6, and 7, you know, to infinite, from clients, customers, understanding who our customers is, and our direct facing customers, obviously the consumers, but studios is in a way our customers as well. So we need to have business development team, we need to schedule, we need to scale. And keep in mind that when we did go live in 2021 in January, we have less than a dozen, staff in Veve or working on Veve. So you're certainly trying to do. Everyone in the company was doing 4 or 5 jobs at once, and for those of you who download the app as the OG, you would know that the app was constantly either crashing or not allowing you to do anything. So that every part of the business, even till today, we face different type of challenges. The macroeconomic side is a challenge. The inflationary is a major challenge, and we see more competition, and we don't really directly see other projects in the NFT or digital collectible as direct competitions only. We really think, how I think is everyone in that collectible business, that $400 billion a year business, is a competition because everyone is trying to fight for the same dollars. And part of that is for us to reinvent ourselves. That's one of the reasons why when you saw in New York Comic Con, we release a lot of digital products to go coincide our overarching what collectible and collectors at heart are about. Physical comic, luxury brands, and you will see many, many more in the coming years. All these things as an umbrella holding, it's all part of the big scheme of ideas and part of our vision. So that gives you some idea that when we started this business, that journey, even till today, we have different challenges, and it will never stop. I think any company, if you feel that you're on the top of something and you don't need to do anything, that's pretty much you going downhill. At Veve, especially in myself and Dan and the top executive team, is that we have a lot more barriers to break before we will even think we got there. We're certainly not there yet.
Awesome. And if you knew how hard it was going to be, would you do it again? That's my follow-up question to that.
The honest truth is, there was a lot of lost opportunities, right? When you try to do a startup business, and a major part is the time. And I suggest, for entrepreneurs out there, people who's looking to be entrepreneurs and do your own business, you certainly want to start while you're young, because it gives you time to fail, and gives you time to get back up and run it again. The hurdles and the pain that we went through, well, I do it again personally. I don't think it was even achievable. I mean, I think I mentioned it to Dan and a few of the team number of times. If this was to be a book or a documentary, I almost could call it 0%. We have 0% to be where we are. I mean, the art is almost impossible. And some of the reason is because throughout the business journey, there were just some major obstacles. Unless you are seasonal management and able to move fast and be agile, you actually have no way to survive. There's a lot of stuff I'm restricted to what I can share here today, and eventually it will come out. It's just a matter of time. And there'd be another moment that we'll be sharing the full story. It's a lot deeper than what people see in the surface. There's as in this industry, there's always bad actors. There's just like even day to day what we go through. There's fathers who don't believe in the project or the business we're in. You almost need to have a really thick skin to get through what we go through. It's not whether will I do again. It will be like I have described it. It was almost impossible. And without that knowledge, I mean, if I was to do it again, I would do it a lot different. We'll put it that way. Because the experience that you build out, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the team you put together, it was very crucial from the beginning. But dynamically wise, now the business is very far different to where we is and were 18 or 2 years ago. And it just takes time to adjust with new cultures, new team members, new talent coming on board. The ship is sailing, very well. We got a lot of grand plans, and we're going around the world delivering these. And another thing to think about is the cycle. Just like any macroeconomic, you're going to have the bull cycle, you're going to have the bear cycle. Constantly people thinking, have we reached the bottom? Have we, it's just a high of Veve. I had a friend send me a picture of a chair, which I actually own. It's a Barcelona chair, one of those chair leather, it just looked like that. Friend sent it to me, and the person wrote on the description, this chair was designed in 1929. Can you think about that type of contemporary design of chair in 1929? So what they were representing to me, the message was, what could Veve be in 80 years time from now? I mean, it was so far ahead of where people are thinking. And, right now, the adoption might not be the mass market where it is right now with physical toys. But when it happens, it's going to be a huge market, and you'll be looking back to go, oh my God, these series 1, even series 6 or 7 we're in now are going to be the very first of these iteration of digital representation of collectibles. So just saying that, the point is we're still in the very, very early stage and this whole movement and the journey.
Awesome. That's a great answer. Crypto Rain, do you want to ask a question? I want everyone to go around the panel and get to ask a question.
I wanted to ask about the VeVeVerse and a little bit of context. I've been in crypto for 6 years. I actually watched one of your interviews before you launched. You joined my friend CJ TV's channel way back in 2018. I thought it was a very interesting project. I think I was the first to cover Veve in March of 2021, and I was covering Veve, and I couldn't find any YouTube videos on it from anyone. And I was like, I was pronouncing it wrong. I was calling it Veve because I had no idea how to pronounce it because I couldn't find any research videos on it. But so you've come a long way with that. I've seen a lot of projects create metaverses, and they've done a good job at raising funds. They're metaverses, nobody's using them. What is your plan for like the VeVeVerse? Is it going to be an extension of like the vault? And will it be shareable with like your social media links, like on your Twitter bio? Maybe you can put a link and somebody can go directly to your VeVeVerse vault or something like that. What's your vision of what the VeVeVerse is going to be like?
Yes, thank you. So number one, a great question. Number one, VeVeVerse was never actually part of our original journey. We thought about it, but with the money that we had in the bank, there was just no way we could even compete. Many of you out there will know, there are companies out there, multinational, who spend billions of dollars. I mean, we are no blind, or we're not trying to pretend that we're going to reinvent what some of these guys do when they have billions in hand. But what we found when Veve was launched, that the Veve Vault, as you know, in the app, was highly used. Even in today, is one of our highest engagement. On the last week, we were presenting it to one of our licensor on our actual user time in that vault. It's a quite significant time period what average user use in that vault. And because what we believe, the UGC, what we call it, the user generated content, and many of the social media out there, including TikTok, going down to Instagram, they use these user generated content, including what we're doing right now on live on YouTube, or when you upstream it. These are all user generated content. They become newsworthy to share. We always knew when you have a great viral user generated content, it's going to reach more in the mid-cat effect. As you probably know, the effect, the idea is that once you watch it, you use it, someone else use it, and they share it, and it gets to a scale. What Vivi's intention was that you have a beautiful vault, and that's where you really want to display. And many of you in your background, you have displays similar to what I have. That we wanted to add another new layer when technology was coming, and when the announcement of the Apple Pro version, and obviously we have seen Oculus, and we have heard that Google's bringing out something as competitive as what Apple may be presenting to the world. Once you put on these AR or mixed reality glasses, you want to see digital layers. And what it was important is that for us to keep up with that technology as it become more available. And what we wanted really is to ensure that the vault that you have becomes your home. So unlike any other metaverse out there where they try to achieve something really grand scale, Veve is actually trying to bring out segments of it. We're breaking them down. So we're not going to be presenting to you a world of theme parks or a whole world of beautiful landscape and house property you could buy. Instead, we're going to be giving you that bigger scale of that Veve vault, what we call home, to start with. We will monitor, we will track to ensure that the user experience and the virality goes out before we open up the next stage in the VeVeVerse. And the point is that you don't want to be in the VeVeVerse and expecting to see thousands of your friends in there, because that's one of the barriers right now, is that if you're in the New York time, I'm in New Zealand time, someone else in Canadian time and Paris time, you're not going to be in there because you have your physical day-to-day work, you have your other things that you have to do at school or varsity. You're not all going to be there. What we don't want is users to go in to this space and they go, well, my friends are not there. After the fifth time you check out, they're not there, you decide to turn away. So the point was, we want to ensure one thing get built and we scale as we go and deliver. And one great news is that we are going to be adding more users on the beta test in Q4. Dan this morning have shared with me this will be open into a wider beta testing team, I think starting in a fortnight until end of this whole year. So there will be new users being added on, selected as we go. And we are also tweeting inside the VeVeVerse what you could do. Because right now, when we first started, we let everyone loose to do what they want. And now we just need to scale it back to go, well, that was too much of that. This is not enough of this. We are carefully monitoring to ensure that the user have the best experience. What we want to do moving forward is to ensure that we have a more robust product before we just release it to the whole wide world.
Is there a way to have a link that maybe someone could put on their Twitter bio and other places where somebody could click on it and actually go inside their vault? Because that you're right, the vault is amazing. Like, shout out to Mr. 168, all the cool things he does with his vault, and all the other VV family that does that. It's like the main use case of some NFT projects like Bored Ape was being able to flex it on social media. What if on our Twitter bio we could put a link to our VV vault? People could go in and see what we had created and kind of walk around in it, whether it's their phone or their computer, and really experience that in a simple format that they just click on a link and they don't have to download anything and they can go in. Is that a possibility with the VeVeVerse?
Yes, it is. And also we are, and just so you know, we're not making promise on the deadline. We are also bringing in video features. Right now in your phone, you can take snapshot of AR photos. We are working on the capability where you can take videos and that and share that video as well. So you no longer just have to screen video capture.
Cool. That's the thing I've been looking for, that if we had a link that people could go into our vault, I could see that going viral, kind of like the showcase has, allowing people to go into our showcase. That's what I'm excited about. And that's what I hope the VeVeVerse has.
Yeah. So we're definitely aiming for that, where you have a link, you pretty much go in and see what the other user have.
Amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. Danny, did you want to ask a question?
Yeah, sure. David, you mentioned a very difficult macro environment, right? So first and foremost, congratulations for continuing to build throughout it, right? Not only surviving, but continuing to build. And we know that prices on the secondary market on Veve have been on a bit of a decline, and that kind of shakes some people's confidence. People are sometimes less inclined to go for drops if they believe that they'll go under retail. Has there been thought of lowering edition sizes to increase demand for drops during this harsh macro environment and help with user retention and incentivizing people?
Yeah, you have nailed it. I mean, pretty much the global macroeconomic and the factors includes the inflationary. And number two is the US dollar in recent weeks has been strengthening to a record high. And that has resulted, when you do the Apple payment with the exchange rate conversion, a lot of these users outside US do get affected. And we do see the amount of drop off where users are no longer buying everything. And number two is just keep in mind, when at the very start of the project, and I think we quite often told the audience is that eventually not every user is going to be going for every single drop. You should really be just focusing on items that you love and you grew up with, that nostalgia, or you want to own that, rather than speculating and buying for a flip. Because no industry and no collectible out there should be you bought something today and tomorrow you double or triple. The utility of the Veve collectible is that the Ghost Rider, for example, we minted very small amount, the edition, and we did that purposely, just like you have say, to cater enough, and it's a beautiful product. I for myself, I missed out on the drop with the sound and the fire, with that crackling. Some people will keep that forever. We really want the collectible to go to people who will keep them. And unfortunate, with the macroeconomic, there will be people hurting in maybe their job or other circumstances. They come and sell. It does bother me sometimes on some of the prices that people are willing to let go. I mean, they're selling things below what they pay for. And those are indication there's either they are overcommitted in some other things, or they need to raise some fast cash to do something, to pay bills and other things. But majority of the users out there, if you look at where the floor price is, if you in general, if you count the next 5 floor price edition goes, it does jump up to a new bracket of floor price, which is a lot higher. So because of that, we are not really, um, well, I guess we are being alerted, but we're not panicking, shall we say. It's not like you have a vast majority or 90% of that users are all dumping certain things because something else is happening. But in the bear market, you always going to get that. Unfortunately, there will be a percentage of speculator people who buy and flip these. And we try many times. We use the bot detections. We done the KYC. We try to eliminate as much as we can in these users. And furthermore, was some of these early accounts that's been restricted. Some of them have come back online, and some of these users might be just exiting the app, so they're actually just cleaning out the early on collections. But we do see new floods of users, and I won't say we're getting tens of millions of users. We're quite happy just with hundreds of new accounts being signed up. And the idea is, how do we convert those users to let them understand how to purchase secondary market? And just to keep in mind, for these new users to purchase items on secondary market, they still need to go through that KYC process. So a lot of them probably have not figured it out or in the process of converting to secondary market. So it does take time. These things that the users don't just overnight go, oh wow, they want every information, I'm going to be providing that to them as they need for me to get more engaged. So there's many factors in these, and hopefully that gives you some idea, our thoughts, and especially my thinking of where we at the moment.
Awesome. If I can just ask one more question, and then we'll go on to Queen Veve to ask a question. We have a lot of questions about. David, do you know if you and Dan are locked in going to the Crypto XR event in France in January next year?
Yeah. Yes. We are.
Yep.
It's very hard to top what we have in New York. I do have to admit, the New York was a quite epic spectacular. For the South of Paris show, I believe is about 25th or 26th January. It goes on for 3 days. We are working with sponsors, brands, studios, artists to do a collab like what we done in New York. Really, we want to be more engaged with the European audience. And just keep in mind, the European market, including UK, it does take over 1/3 of our sales. So it is quite significant market for us to be represented there. And unfortunately, 2023, we didn't have a show there. So I do want to start our 24 journey with a European city.
And so is the focus going to be more on Veve there or more on the Ecomi side?
We will probably do a little bit of both. Obviously, the great thing about Veve is about how easy it is to access to that audience, because obviously when you put a big brand in your booth, that attracts users to walk up to it. So we will be focusing at the same thing. That is how we maximize it. And we're still learning who's going to be attending, how many people are going to be walking up. I mean, it will be amazing if you get a couple whales, right, into Veve just from that show. And we all understand some of these collectors, once they get hooked into it, they enjoy that aspect. They start collecting. They want to own one of everything that we produce. The idea is how we get more collectors on board, and then through that journey, they will learn what Veve and the behind the Ecomi is all about.
Awesome. That sounds great. Laurie, do you have something you want to ask?
Yeah, I just have one question with 15 parts. So, joking. So, David, I wanted to ask you, with Funko and with Louboutin, what kind of feedback have you got from them? I mean, obviously that party, as you mentioned in New York, was pretty incredible. You could see I have some unboxed Funkos here. I know that sold out pretty quickly compared to, some of the other Funko drops. What kind of feedback have you got from them?
Yeah, definitely. These collabs releases are very, very popular, and especially the Funko one because of price point, right? I mean, the Louis Vuitton shoe price naturally was a much higher pricing to absorb. So the Funko ones certainly did very well. I mean, I personally went on the Funko website and had a look at their entire gold range. And Veve's collab is the only one has physically sold out. So we certainly I personally think it was always going to be a hit from the beginning. But I guess a lot of these physical toy companies, last week I saw in the news even Mattel, Hasbro, based on the reading I did on CNBC, the inflation, the macroeconomic has hurt the physical toy sales. Furthermore, a lot of you guys will probably know and notice that a lot more retail shops are closing up, or they're moving to a smaller footprints, and therefore they need to maximize retail spaces. So when you have that many toy company all want to fit into that category, it's just going to get harder and they get squeezed out. And this is one of the things that especially the last 18 months I've been working on a lot, is understanding what I personally call the tipping point. There will be a point where the physical collectors in toy industry or collectible industry will tip over and go, well, I actually just digital makes sense. The convincing bit takes a while, and we can already start to see people who collect comics and who get their comic slab. They can't open that comic book without damaging that plastic case to read them. So you want to own a physical collectible, but you also want to have a digital. So vice versa, when you think about comic, you think about the Funko 18-inch, you now have opened that box, you display it, eventually you run out of room, and there's two boxes that you possibly might not even open until someone pull that $40,000 bounty I put out, and it just gets more
It's
and
right
more
here.
valuable.
It's right here. I'm saving it for you. We'll talk after.
Laurie has 6. Laurie has 6 of them.
I have it. I know I do.
It gets more and more valuable because unopened. If you look at it, the unopened Pokemon First Edition booster box are going for 240 to 300,000 US, depending which region you're in. These are all record prices, and is it worth that? I mean, Pokemon booster box used to sell for 65 to 85 US a boosted display. Now you could almost pay off your mortgage by just selling a booster box of it.
Yeah.
So the
There's a
collectible
limit,
market,
right? You only have 6 months before you can, right? There's a limit though for the NFT. You can't.
yeah, I
Until
do
October now.
believe so. It'd be
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah.
I think Alex said it was to October now, October of like next year.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I think it could be extended. I mean, we'll monitor how many codes being redeemed. If we have 100% success rate, then it makes sense to expire October. But just going back, the the physical meets the digital. It's always going to be a big thing for us. Especially I came from, and I'm coming from a retail business where I'm still selling these products in my shop. You almost can think about, the product Veve is offering is not try to kill the retail business or physical, but providing a new medium for you to collect. And that's what we always continue to voice when we speak to licensors, is that people who love that physical, they like to have a digital to bring around. And I did share some video with Dan in the Iron Man. He goes, wow, the digital one looks much better because you can see that metallic, the armor around it. He felt, the digital just looks better. The lighting, the whole static side of it. And then there's few video I saw the digital and the physical sitting side by side, and I couldn't tell which one's which. So as we move forward with technology, things just going to be more and more realistic, and that's what we're aiming for.
Awesome.
Funko
Laurie,
was
are we able to?
pleased. So obviously Funko was pleased with
Oh yes, oh yeah.
They-
They were very, very pleased. I think even Marvel, the team that we work with Marvel was very pleased. This is the first proper collectible that went out. How it's been done. So, and I look forward to more digital products coming out, and this could be. And just keep in mind, we not really just set on either comics or plastic figurine. There's a lot of other merchandise out there. You saw that the apparel with the shoe company is another great example out there. And then we still got new vertical that we are bridging into and learning, like music, sports, and so on.
Awesome. Laurie, are you able to let Randy ask a question now?
No, fine. Fine.
Thanks, guys. David, good to see you. Last time I saw you, you were labeled MCD. You weren't David Yu. You were someone else that day. But thank you for being here. And thanks for everyone for the super chats. Kendra's not my stream right now, but I'll give you. I have like 4 different questions. So I'll let you pick. AI, animation, IP, sales, or other.
Well, I mean, AI sounds interesting. So, yeah, I mean, it's been pretty hot topic, hasn't it? Past.
Okay, cool. So, I'll try to how to word this. Well, a few months back, you did a interview with Binance New Zealand. You were asked a fantastically worded question by someone, I don't know who, and it was about AI, and you had responded that you would really like to incorporate ChatGPT or AI in the VeVeVerse in some way. And with President Biden yesterday signing an executive order mandating that American companies, and this is only to Americans, obviously, that they share their findings and they share their safety protocols, has that affected your and Dan's vision for ChatGPT and AI in the VeVeVerse?
Yeah, I mean, number one, the technology that we are dealing with every day is just so fast progressing, and it's very unfortunate that a lot of people are actually using AI to scam things. I have seen people using the voice to pretend they are someone else to access their bank account or through the phone banking, etc. So it's very unfortunate when you have these groundbreaking technology out there. There are always means and ways scammers out there will take advantage of it. It's probably good that the regulatories are looking to put framework around what you could do with these data that you're collecting and how it's representing individuals and moving forward. We will continue to work around frameworks and sandbox where government provide them. I think crypto overall in general is a huge topic, with the SEC, the civil governing body believing, yes, they are security. No, they're not. If NFT is, if not, we sit on sideline in everything, and so we don't see AI is going to be treated any different. There's going to be regulations coming in. So to answer in regards to the VeVeVerse, which just to expand my answer from the very beginning from Crypto Rain, is that you want to be in VeVeVerse and you don't want to be walking around by yourself. I mean, we looked at the number that Decentraland had provided publicly and some of the sandbox numbers that came out in some publication. They are very small. In some cases, there's only a few hundred active users per month. So Veve do not want to be in that bracket. What we want is, and we believe that, and this is going back to history of video games, you're always going to have a non-player characters walking around, right? And the non-player characters, imagine if they could do something and they could learn things and be part of that ecosystem, that could be potentially be very fun. That you can walk up to someone, possibly they don't exist, but through the machine learnings, they understand your favorite comic that you read, your fault. They understand you invited them to your home and really understood what you do and what your appetite is in collecting, and be part of that world. Certainly you will not be able to take that AI character and just pluck it into somewhere else. It will be within our confined space. So we see these regulations as it move and expand. We will just make sure that we're within that regulatory component.
I'm really excited about the VeVeVerse, yeah, and the expanded vault functionality. Somebody in the comments didn't seem so excited about that, but to me, I feel like that's a use case that's the most easily deployable. But one of the users asked, how many people will be able to join? Like, say Randy has a space and he has his vault and he wants to send it out and say he wants all his people to join him at the same time. Any idea what it'd take so that like 50 people could join in there and walk around in his vault with him?
Yeah. So, and I believe, okay, so from it's a great question. So from the beginning, and just to make it clear, Dan is the head of the VeVeVerse. He's leading that team and that creativity. But when I do sit in the meeting, I listen carefully, just like I look at his background, if he's putting any hints out in any of the Zoom meeting. And what I get was that the technology will allow a lot of users to be in that same space, but where if I was standing, I will have a direct access to maybe the 30 to 50 around that area of me. So as I move to another part, the people closest to me will have that access to communicate or to be part of that, and I can see them. So saying that, and that's really just for the loading side of things. That's as far as I understood from the beginning. That's how we will be rolling it out. You will be able to invite them, but it doesn't mean all 3,000 of them have direct access messaging you. You need to have the way we geolocate where you are in VeVeVerse to access that.
Awesome. Okay, so we've got so many questions here. I'll just ask a simple one. There's some fans that want to know if we're going to have a master collectors party at some point. So sort of for all the master collectors.
Yes, I do want to reward the master collectors. We couldn't do that in New York because otherwise we will probably need a football stadium. I looked at the invite list. I did get the team to run down how many master collectors. It was crazy. It's in the thousands, many thousands. So we couldn't do that for New York. unless we have the Yankee Stadium or some football stadium.
Yeah. So we need a bigger space, basically. We have another question for the fans. Will we eventually be able to change some of the collectibles, like have a yellow cape for Superman? Is the example they gave me in the VeVeVerse.
Yeah, that's a great question. When we first pitch the licensors, one of our slides was basically a superhero, like a physical toy that you could detach and swap the arms and hands and the accessory with it, like you do with your physical toy. And then we, in a way, we want to do that. So in the near future, we'll definitely look into that. That's our dream anyway, because it really brings what we thought a physical collectors will want to do. They will want to swap the heads or the helmets or the capes. So definitely.
David, I have a question about the sub 40s on the Iron Man drop. Was this something that was the decision of Funko? Because this was the first, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you guys always held, the first 30, the first 40.
Yeah.
So why did this kind of change? And will this continue, or will this just be up to each IP holder? Maybe?
Yeah, this one was a very unique one because we couldn't physically keep the first 40. It was impossible because otherwise the secret rare 1 in 50, there'd be only 1 in 10 in the market, right? That's number one if we're keeping every variant. Number two is, to be very fair, we were not involved on the inserting of the certificate, the redemption code. Okay. And obviously, so they mix it up. So even if your box says 1800 or number one, it doesn't mean you're actually going to get that number meant to go with it. And they are physically mixed up from people who probably don't even know what Veve is somewhere in Vietnam, according to where the box came from. They wouldn't even know what a secret rare is. So it was fairly easy that how the description of this method worked. Therefore, I was very eager to try to see if I could bring back number one, which is something that originally me and Dan promised that I will keep number one. But in this case, we couldn't have one of the most rare collectible. It is 1 in 50. And if you get number 1 in 50 out of the 3,000, it's a very, very rare. In fact, it could be one of the most rare collectible that we put out there, not counting the James Bond movie physical ticket, 1 in 7. And maybe the Aston Martin, one of the Aston Martin, I believe, with the special number plate was a very rare as well.
So
Awesome. Danny, do you have another question?
Yeah. I wanted to jump back to the VeVeVerse a little and ask about what type of integration will OMI have in there? Is it expected to be like a main currency within the VeVeVerse?
Yeah. That one I couldn't speculate too early right now. Obviously, the first iteration, what we are releasing in the VeVeVerse is your home. So there are limitations of what you could do in your home or what you could purchase and so on. At the very start is really pouring all those assets that you already own into your home and display. And the utility part to what you're saying is once we open up that barrier, you can walk outside your home and you can start going into shops or start going to different markets. What could you do? We're definitely looking at these options for sure. We are very careful based on the regulatory requirement to treat tokens or native tokens or all sorts of tokens. Are they being treated as security if we were to accept it, and the laws around in each region before we just open up the wall, the gate.
So I'm gonna continue with the VeVeVerse trend. It seems that in many parts of the world, not really just America, but especially online, that legacy media is really becoming fossils. Whether it's the pandering, the misinformation, general poor integrity, and I think Veve has a real good opportunity here to become a media outlet of themselves. I mean, we already have photo and message sharing over on the feed. What else do you think that Veve could do, whether on the app or in the VeVeVerse, that they could implement in order to take some of that market share?
Yeah, you know, what me and Dan don't want to see is this become a advertising platform for companies to take advantage of. And the branding side, what we really wanted to do is create a collectible app where people come as fandoms. And going back to earlier answer, the vertical that we really see a bigger market on is obviously comic collecting's here. It's pretty big. Then you got toy groups, and then you got music, and then you got sports. These verticals are big enough for us to chew on for a while before we start thinking, you know, do we sell a billboards to a multinational to advertise something? I also would never want to, and knock on wood, we'll never see it, is that I don't want to be in my Veve file and 20 seconds later I'm watching you know, advertising or short about something. That's not why we create this. It's, you know, the content from the user generated content is to share that fandom and that love and that spread out. And, you know, in a way, you know, other social media platform has picked it up. So some of your content or your what you put through when you go live, YouTube's are selling ads around you. Um, you know, Twitter or X is putting ads around those things, your followers to see, and they're really monetizing it. So Veve is not really designed to do that. So hopefully that answers it, and that I'm never going to be under pressure from any of my stakeholder that I have to put that on in front of you.
I meant as far, which is great. I love to hear that. I think they mentioned that in an Amazon show where they're in this metaverse and they get an ad for like Orbit gum and you have to put in 5 credits to skip the ad or whatever. But I meant more as like, hey, if and it's great that people won't get that, but if let's say I take this stream from YouTube into the VeVeVerse and I only stream in the VeVeVerse and I have a big whiteboard on my land, could I choose Orbit Gum or High Endurance or Febreze or anyone and they could do that there?
So part of the VeVeVerse, going back, is we are working on, and this might answer some of the earlier question I didn't really go too much in depth, is that there will be, we aim to have a creative economy. Okay, so the creative economy is basically understanding, you know, once you have become a verified user in VeVeVerse, once you become a verified merchant in VeVeVerse, you've done your KYC, you could actually set up your own store. And if your store is about streaming, people can join you and you could be earning certain things, credits or monetize or crypto, pending on regulatory by that time. And if you were a 3D designer, you want to design digital clouds or digital mountains for people to plot around their land or their home, they feel can do so and monetize it. We really believe that the creative economy is what's going to drive Veve to mass scale. And the reason being is they will create their own audience. You will be talking about why I should be buying these digital grass because it's going to grow better and greener than the grass that Veve produce, you know, with a licensed brand attached to it. So the creator economy, I believe, is going to suck a lot of people who could potentially find this as a part-time job to earn them extra income, and streaming is certainly one of them.
Thank you, Mia.
Awesome. We've got a couple pretty good questions here. One of them was from some Australians asking about the drop time. Are we going to get some different drop times so that we can do it, or is the 24-hour wait list getting closer to being ready?
Yeah, I can't comment too much. I must ask Mitch on that one. I know there has been complaints. I do see it internal in the company. We do see these messages popped up. Well, yeah, it's very, very likely, and I do believe some of them will be changed once the geolocation start to open up. Once the Greater China market opens up, the drop naturally, those content will be catered for China or Japan or Korea. So things will start to move around the time zone for sure.
Awesome. I know you can't really talk about timelines, but we've got a lot of questions about bronze tickets. Do you know if those are coming this year, this Q4?
I did touch base and was in discussion with Dan and that he did. I honestly cannot recall what the answer was, but it is definitely in the works on this bronze ticket with the MCP or UP part. We just very unfortunate. We just got so much things happening internally and trying to roll everything out. It's taking a lot longer than we think. There are certain parts of our app we are looking to rebuild, revise. There's the website, and you guys probably will just wait and see other announcements that we have coming out.
Awesome. Sounds good. Who else has a question? Danny?
Yeah. Do you think there'll come a time when there are only peer-to-peer transactions on the secondary market on Veve so that you guys won't be responsible for cashing people out?
Yeah. This has also been talked about the peer-to-peer. How do we switch it back on? Obviously, there could be a verify to do it. Both uses KYC. And there could be a fee involved, and that fee could be paid possibly, with points, OUP, OMI, could be gems, anything. So that has been in the discussion that how and when we will want to turn that back on.
So it is a possibility, and it is something that you guys would maybe prefer down the line long term.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I'm one of those person who's fully supportive on these open systems for users. It makes sense, and just to think about, a lot of what we do is not just me make the decision. Our legal comes in and they go, if we did do that, we need clarification from certain jurisdiction legal experts. It's just unfortunate that the industry we're in, just being fully watched, and we just don't want to, we're testing new things, and we don't want to break any laws or regulations out there until they get more clear. And I'm sure they are. I mean, even crypto on its own right is getting more and requesting. We're seeing multinational VC firms are requesting government support and lean on clarifications and things.
Thank you. Yeah.
Real quick, you've mentioned a France event. There is an event the week after in another part of the world, but it's relatively close. Is there any where you would get a free booth if you go? Is there any chance that you guys might do that?
Where's that?
It's Dubai. I could email you details about it.
Yeah, we could look at stopping by. Probably not have a booth. it's a lot of energy to put
I know.
put something on. Yeah, and we certainly be keen to swing by. I think for both myself and Dan to even come back, we may have to transit through there anyway. It's quite long. Yeah,
It's 1 week later. It is by the guy that just KYC'd, Rashad Al Farouk. He's got 2 Superman or 2 Action Comics #1s. He's a big you'll really love him. I can't wait to introduce you guys.
Yeah, well, I personally would love to meet him in person.
Yeah.
So
You'd love to see his vault. I'll shoot you an email.
I've seen it on Instagram quite a few times.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
David, how are you going for time? Do you have enough time?
I'm okay. I can do another 30 minutes.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, we'd like to go to an hour and a half here. So that'd be perfect.
I know this. I felt really bad when you guys on air yesterday, and I do want to apologize. My day are not like a normal person's day. I'm pretty much the plumber. Here to fix all the leak and attend every meeting. Yeah, it's a lot going on in Dave's life at the moment. And we
appreciate it. We appreciate your time, and we know how busy you are. Randy said you had like 9 meetings or something yesterday. Crazy.
Yeah, it was so crazy. So I do apologize. I know you guys were streaming live, which I thought was a pre-recorded one. So maybe a day later, no one's gonna kill me. But I failed. And I didn't even know it's 6 of you guys on. For you guys to accommodate this available,
we do this every week. This is our 46th episode now, so we've been doing it for almost a full year now. So,
yeah,
it's been that long already.
Yeah, almost a full year. I think next month will be a full year.
Yeah, must get Dan on to one of these things.
Maybe for the 1-year anniversary.
Yeah,
because we've had Reese on, but we haven't had Dan on yet, so that'll be good.
Yeah, I'll definitely hit it out to Dan. He would love to be on, I'm sure. Yeah.
That'd be great. I'll have a bunch more VeVeVerse questions for him.
Yeah, he is the go-to to go person. What goes on with VeVeVerse, he keeps a very tight lips on it. I kind of do have to fish it out myself. I guess when it goes live, I will get a very big surprise because what I seen the making of it from the very beginning, and there's a lot more coming. There's another game studio that we've been supporting, Tengoku, that's getting final touch up. In fact, I'm actually having dinner with the founder of Tengoku tonight, and we added a lot of voice into it after the last review I did with him. I wanted to make the game even more Japanese, like there's a lot more, and there's many puzzle games in there. That whole entire game mechanism is very involved with Omi. So there's a lot of things happening in there.
Yeah, that game looks awesome. Looks like a lot of fun.
It is. The graphic and the team, I was quite privileged to meet the teams behind it. It's a very small studio team. I won't give away too much, and I'll probably introduce them to you guys. We are going to look at bringing the team to some sort of gaming events, like an indie game conference, where we could have a stand there and really reaching out on how the Web3 of this game will work, and hopefully that's where we're going to start branching out. And other parts about the Tengoku game is really to explore the opportunity of having an IP that we can have a better narrative behind it, better control, and things like that. So I just want to make sure that fans out there support the team, the studio. The studio is a very, very amazing, talented people.
And
And
so
you guys will all meet them.
So can you explain to us some of the mechanics and features, or you for like they have Omi burning and Omi rewards and all sorts of stuff in that game,
Yeah.
right?
And then there's leaderboards and there's a lot of mini games inside.
Oh
From
wow!
what I saw, I already seen another 3 or 4 mini puzzle games which you can help to complete. And they're building, I think they're building level 6 now. So I do believe it's to play seamlessly, just normal. It's about one hour 40 minutes, or maybe up to 2 hours of gameplay in there. If you're very good, but then the whole thing is you will want to go back and replay it because there's certain things you want to hit to collect to get that the OMI rewards and so on. So there are some stickiness of that gameplay and why you want to be that part of that leaderboard, and then there's NFT feature in there as well.
Awesome. We've had a couple of questions about IP as well. Are we bringing on some big brands next year?
Yeah, of course. We bring in big brands every year. And no small brand is too small for Veve. We celebrate every time we sign a new deal and we are launching. Obviously, there are brands already in the work that hasn't been announced. I mean, the Funko one, we had to keep a very tight lip for a long time. I mean, there's a lot of manufacturing, design, sign off process in that, and that unveil, So the team in Veve constantly are working on new things, new ideas. One of the things that we're very proud of is that we don't leak much information out there apart from what's in my background, but not today.
What do we got?
I think someone said they saw a Pokemon in the background there.
Although I will say the Iron Man was found by somebody months ago. And
really?
yeah, it was found on the blockchain, months ago. And somebody asked Alex, and Alex was like, "Oh, we always make things for scaling and metaverse testing."
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
But yeah, on that, what is it like to know that, people are constantly looking at the back end of the books or the back end of, not even having the whole picture, because traditional business doesn't run like that. And what kind of struggles do you guys go through with, with everyone seeing?
Well, put it this way. There are contracts I have to sign where there's millions of dollars in penalty if I leaked it out. That's how serious it is in information, especially when when I'm in a position where I can see what films or what studios are producing in years to come. It is very important that you keep that creative content very secretive and closed door. For me personally, it's a painful thing because I'm one of those guys who just want to tell the world about the greatest thing that we're building and we've found. And this could be possibly why I'm not part of that VeVeVerse team, because what goes on, I would just tell everyone. It's very, very difficult.
You mentioned, I know you guys are gearing towards the Asian market, and that's kind of a big goal for you guys. China in particular is known for very strict regulatory practices. I read online, I don't know if it's true that a secondary like market sales weren't allowed on there for like NFTs and digital collectibles. I don't know if that's true, but what roadblocks do you expect you'll have to overcome in penetrating and navigating through that market?
Yeah, great question. So, and this is from factual findings on the ground when I do visit the region, is that number one is NFT is not really called NFT there.
Right.
Okay, they call it NFR, non-fungible rights. So you have the right to use it. So to get around, they don't use the T word, they use the right, because anything associated with a token, they straight away think is a cryptocurrency. So that's number one. Number two, just to give you some idea of scale, of how big that market is. And these information are being provided to me from executive of our partners over there. There are other NFR or NFT marketplaces. They do transact between $1 to $2 billion US per day.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, the top three are quite massive. So our vision is, how do we go in there and test the water and make sure we are within that regulatory confine, how we do it, and how some of these projects has been working on, just so our users understand. A lot of these platforms, when they first issue the NFR, they don't allow the users to trade them in secondary market straight away. There are restrictions, maybe held within 1 month or 2 months. And the point is that they don't want speculators to buy and sell and flip. So the China market, in summary, is huge. There's restrictions, and there's more restrictions on secondary market, how you allow the users to trade. So, to be in there fully regulated and be part of that ecosystem, which will require a lot of changes. So we will probably just bridging with what technology we have and limited control and test the water before we go all in that region. And just keep in mind, Korea, South Korea, Japan, and Southeast Asia is another huge market. There's a huge collector base out there, and there's something that we do want to get attention to as well.
Speaking of China, and China, the government is usually very agreeable to things when there is a big company that they want in there. For example, they kind of bent over backwards in order to get Tesla into Shanghai and all that, in order to go, because they want electric cars there. One of the ways that I feel like Veve might be able to do kind of what Tesla did is by going through their Alibaba partnership, which you had mentioned on Instagram, but Veve has not yet publicly announced anything on their Twitter or any of their socials. When do you think people like us will get a little bit more details on what that Alibaba partnership entails?
Yeah, so you are right. There are exceptional companies get I guess the word is in the question is, if you're solving a problem, and that's a problem around the world, environmental. So if you're solving that issue, they're going to be open up, and they always have been. But in Veve's terms, when are we going to be announcing the depthness of the partnership or the cooperation into that region? There's a lot of talks, and there's a lot of things that we are engaging and implementing now. Ali it's a huge organization and many departments. They're similar to what Amazon does. They have a retail front-facing type of business. They have multiple portals of sites and engaging in trades. They have cloud services similar to what AWS does. They have their specialty. They have securities, auditing. The full suite service of what Ali offers is beyond just in one product, in one unit in Veve. There will be many parts for us to get into that region we need support Language barrier has always been a big thing. So having a domestic local player who can act fast, it's going to be a crucial for us to make or break for Veve there. But we're looking forward to build a strong partnership, and this is going to every company out there. I mean, if when Apple brings out the professional mixed reality glasses, we will be working as much as we can because we want our users to get their hand on it and put it on, see content. There'd be many other company out there are very important to us, not just Ali on its own. AWS is a major partner for us, and one of the reasons why we are even in business today is the generous credit that Amazon startup team in the cloud give us in Veve the opportunity to turn that on. So we don't forget all these things.
Thank you.
I had a question, David. So this happened maybe a year and a half ago. There was some backdated utility to a collectible that had already come out with Ritmo. And that was really cool and exciting and stuff. Collectors like me get excited about that stuff. Is that something that Veve might do occasionally, is sometimes take, especially as the capabilities now are quite impressive? Like I love the Darth Vader collectible where he like picks them up, and some of the other ones coming out, like the Incredibles, the little boy where he like disappears and then reappears, are incredible. Are there plans to sometimes just once in a while with IP surprise everyone?
Certainly. I love to, I really push as much as I can. I think we all start to see more once our resource and the talent that's working on these, we are ahead of things. Right now, we are just on track to be ahead for the first time. And that's really just been putting more resource in developing. To go back to retrofit collectible, to bring it, revise the color or the glossiness or the animation, does take a bit of work, because you have to keep in mind we do have to repoly that back to the high spec and then downgrade it. And the past few months, the team in Veve has been converting a lot of our assets over so it will work in the VeVeVerse. That's taking a lot of time. I think people think there's a button we push and everything just spit out at the other end going, yeah, you're pretty good. We can go now. It 100% doesn't go that way. I rest assure you, there's no software you press a button and everything just does it. Yeah, and reformats everything we want it. It takes great effort. And just to be sure, the set of eye from Dan is going through every model. Every converted item stands and looking around the colors to shade. If it doesn't pass his eye, it goes back. He's like Optimus Prime in VeVeVerse.
Yeah, David, talking about that, we can actually use the latest version of ChatGPT 4.5 has a visual feature, so you can add pictures. So I think Dan should look into it, because it's possible you could actually automate the whole process if using ChatGPT 4.5 with a camera feature, where it can actually process all the visual data and work out, does that look good? It's still not as good as a human, I'm guessing, but
yeah,
it could be.
I will bring it up to him, and I'm pretty sure he is using something. He has to be. Yeah, but I know he's he has a look at every single one, because otherwise they just go to the license source and come back and they just go, well, obviously I'm not sure which screen you're looking at.
So you guys have to send everything that you do to the licensor to sign it off.
Yeah. Oh,
so
of course.
Is that slowing the process down the most out of everything?
Correct. Well, that's why we're not live here. It's a lot of moving part. Yeah. I think a lot of the users out there think everything just happens. We just drops Ghost Rider because we can. It's all been pre-planned. There's calendars, there's raw maps, there's narrative behind it. There's anniversaries for a lot of these characters come out. Just to give you an example, that Adam's Family was meant to release last year, but we
with the
couldn't
show.
get the full ride. We couldn't get the music. The Jurassic Park gate. Some of you guys probably seen the Jurassic Park gate that I put out as for fun back in even early as 2020. This is 3 years later. That gate has been in my dream for 3 years. That gate, you see that little diorama when you blow it up and put your dinosaur behind it. It's really gonna lit. I personally think it's probably one of the coolest thing we ever done. Apart the Avengers Tower, you've probably seen it. You blow it up, you can put it next to a building. But the Jurassic Park gate, with all the dinosaurs we have, it's just gonna be, it's gonna be amazing. Taking digital toy into the next level.
There's somebody that has 350 of like the Apex Predator ones, and I can't wait to see his home space where he has that gate of 350
It'd be
motherfuckers
scary.
going.
Yeah, imagine you're driving your limbo through the gate.
I like it. Also, anyone else have any questions?
I mean, I always do, but I imagine you guys have a bunch as well.
In my question, I have a question about, incentivizing people to purchase on the website as opposed to the app, to mitigate those fees. Can you tell us the percentage of gems that are purchased on the website versus the app? And then are there talks of ways that you can incentivize people to use the website?
I won't touch too much on the split, but put it this way. Apple payment and Google payments through your app purchase is very convenient. Okay, so it is still the dominant user base. And of course, like any company out there, we are trying to work out ways where we can divert users to other means. And just keep in mind, within Apple's terms and condition, we can't actively route that payment from users by advertising any media or instructions to bring them to another screen for their payment, for that matter. We are going to look at, I can't actually go into too detail because that will be giving you everything. That's what's coming. But there are things that we're working in the company that hopefully will divert, so our balance sheet will be more true to one gems and one, because Apple they take a cut.
Yeah, it's a sizable one. Yeah.
We're not the only company that's facing this issue, so I don't want people to go, oh my god, Veve is dead because of this and that. It's not. It's every other company out there has to go through the same. If you're a gaming company, you're doing in app digital purchase, but we do factor that in our business equation. That's what I'm really trying to say, is that it's not going to kill us tonight. We do factor that in.
David, I'm curious, in this bear market, we've seen a lot of the competitors maybe not as successful as Veve continues to be. And I know we always want everyone to do well in the space, but I have to ask, has seeing Veve continue to thrive or really do well in this market, has that maybe drawn some IP holders that were maybe holding out or considering going elsewhere? Has that driven them maybe towards Veve or back to Veve? Have you seen anything like that in this market?
Yeah, we do. I personally keep a very close dialogue with every IP owner. In fact, I'm pretty much in every executive call because they are my customers.
Mhm.
So we talk about front-facing customers. We have consumers, right? My job as my customer is the licensors as my customer. I need to deliver them revenues as well. So number one, about competition, it breaks my heart when we see another player goes down because it actually makes the industry tougher. I think people think the wrong way. They think by having one more competition, we're going to lose more customers. If their competitors are doing what Veve does and reaching out to the mass audience to convert them, we all share that tie, that massive ocean out there. When the ties are up, everyone looks good. It's when the tie goes out, everyone's going to have a problem. So number one, when I get other founders message me to tell me they are closing up their organization, I do share with Dan straight away. And the first thing is, this is bad. So don't think we laugh about it. We never. It's almost like if you only have one comic company or one toy company out there that dominate, you'll go, well, this is just doesn't really make sense. Many of you probably remember the Thai baby, the Beanie Baby. There was a huge craze. In fact, I probably have about 60 or 70 of those limited edition baby that's feature that was once worth a lot of money. The difference between that business and what we're going through is, remember, that was just one Beanie Baby company. So the rise and the falls is just in one. So if there's only one digital collectible company out there, the rise and falls will be just one. The more, the better. And what we're going through, experiencing in this round of hype is that this is an industry wide. This is going from artists to talent who never knew they could draw. They become an artist, comic artist, graphic designer, become an artist during COVID, now can mint their own collectibles, brands. So it's a massive audience. Now, so when other competitors either rises, our licensor look for opportunities. Their job is to look for ways to license in different categories, how it will go. My job at Veve is to ensure we are very relevant to our customers and licensors in this case, bridging into physical contents, bridging into other verticals, make us become relevant, and they pay attention to go, well, you already have a database of users. By adding this into your category, it's just going to help you accelerate, and we do that. And collabs such as Funko demonstrate that there is a demand for certain collectibles line that it doesn't sell through your traditional way, but by adding a digital layer and scarcity, it creates a new market, and that's what we do at Veve. My job is to ensure we stay alert, we stay ahead of our competitors, and we are coming with new innovative ideas. I don't really look at my competitors, what they are releasing. I'm so busy just looking at the stuff that I got coming. We have so much. Dan was telling me yesterday, there's a brand new Excel sheet tab now, have a list of all the licensors that has assets being development that is not even included in our drop schedule. So we got contents out there. We're trying to juggle to fit everyone in. Ideally is we only have one Halloween drop and it sells out very well, but we don't. We have back-to-back releases.
Well, we made you big, David.
I'm trying to look at your shelf.
That works
Everyone's
great.
what's on your shelf behind you.
There's nothing. I love course, and
I see
a
Pokemon.
very good friend
Oh
of
my
mine left at Toy Tokyo. You guys will remember we did the kaiju release with Toy Tokyo during New York Comic Con. He gave me these two gold and silver spaceman. Yeah, so
That
that's
is awesome.
just jump
Nice.
So
one
I
of
think-
our
I think
one of the viewers had a great question. Valentine's Zamorana said, "Is there any chance to collaborate somehow with existing NFT projects like Bored Ape or some big project
Yeah.
like that?"
Yeah. There's a couple other projects out there that have reached out to me. We are definitely looking at it. I personally thought Bored Ape is amazing IP. You know, the talent in Yoga Lab Studio are very cool. Those guys put on crazy fandom parties that I just see on social. Extraordinary talent people. The IP is great. I seen ice creams at the airport with their logo on it. I do believe that there was a party in Hong Kong in the recent blockchain event or the fintech event there. And the beauty about them is that they allow those owners to relicense that Bored Apes. So possibly one day Veve could purchase a couple cool Bored Apes and turn it to a 3D and make it available in Veve to share that with all our audience. You know, so that's a possibility. It's a no-brainer, right?
That would be amazing. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I think you might be out of time now, David. This is about half an hour.
Oh yeah, you
So,
might have to
yeah,
bounce.
thanks so much for coming today. Like we all appreciate it so much. It's great to have your view on here. I know we asked only a few questions about the Ecomi side. We didn't want to pepper you too much. The people in the comments are going crazy about it. But you know, Ray and I have explained that there's certain things that we don't want to ask you that would potentially get you in trouble, right? So.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for answering all the questions you could answer. And I think I've got some clarity on a few things. I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, so it'd be really awesome if we get Dan on here as well. That'd just be amazing. And you are on the back of our new merchandise, Dave. I'll have to send you one of these.
Yes, yeah, you must. It looks like a periodic table, like a chemistry table.
Yes, yep, that's what I was going for.
When periodic table.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for coming.
Thanks,
any
guys.
final words to the fans?
Well, have fun in Halloween. Yeah, just enjoy yourself. We're still in the very early frontier of this whole collectible experience through digital. For those of you who came out to New York, we're about to post and share one of the videos that the production company had put together for Veve. So we're going to be sharing that video, I think, today.
I think it came out.
It just came out.
It didn't come out yet. It's still
It
private.
didn't? Oh no.
Okay, I think it's just coming out or in the next hour or 40 minutes or so. So look out for that. And happy Halloween. And thanks for having me on. And I do apologize yesterday for those who were on the show. Sorry to move your show to back with 2 days. No intentions was made in there.
That's right. They just had to suffer through us for 2 days.
For us, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
David, I would be
we got more
remiss
viewers than
too.
we've ever got. It's definitely for us, right? Thanks, David. Have a lovely day.
I
Thank you, David.
would be remiss though too, David. I do want to thank you once again for donating that that unredeemed Veve logo for charity. That is in effect, everybody. So David has that in his possession, and it's going to go out to the highest bidder. So thank you again.
What is the price sitting at
Another one just sold for $49.50.
Yeah, I
So
put
it's
the
still
reserve price at $4,000, and so Queens Court Charity at gmail.com. We're running a silent auction until Thanksgiving Day, where we will reveal the winner.
I bid
So-
40.69 yesterday, so you got to beat me, someone.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you,
Our current
everybody.
bid is 4,069. Thank you, Randy.
I'll
Do you
shoot
need
you a message
another
about
one,
Dubai.
Randy?
I'll shoot you a message about Dubai, and hopefully we'll get something done there.
Thank you.
All right.
Have
I love you.
a great week ahead. Thanks for having me, and we'll look forward to see you in the next show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks,
See you,
David.
David.
Take care.
Thanks,
guys.
David.